So obviously, one of the major conversations in with respect to organizations is the funding model, and the funding model of most churches have been tithing. Well, when God asked Noah to build the ark, he didn't tell Noah to say the people must donate the wood for him to build the ark. He said Noah must make a plan. God will give Noah the wisdom to be able to collect the wood and the materials needed to build to build the ark. So in our constitution as well, we don't have a mandate for people to tithe. We are very we believe in God and we believe in God's mission and guidance. So we believe God will give us a way and a plan to be able to achieve what we need to achieve through Him in His own way. The fact that people will come to church and have to tithe, not in organizations, not an organization, that's not mandatory. That's up to will, and we also have to be. We are aware of the tradition with respect to Christianity within Africa, specifically how people are literally being, you know, people literally so much out of their pockets that they can't afford to live their own lives. We are not on that path. We are not going to do that. But we have plans in place. We believe God has got a plan in place for us to be able to achieve what He needs us to achieve without us going through that down the path. Because if I may, for instance, with respect to the 10% of tithing. So you understand how the world works in terms of in the modern times. So life is very life is very dynamic. It changes, not consistent. The weather and so forth. A lot of things are depend on the weather, the stock market, the industry changes, and so forth. So what happens when one industry crashes completely, and then a new one starts? What about the people that used to be that are part of the church that cannot be able to afford that? What happens to them? Does that mean God will them less because they lost their jobs? No. We want you to worship with God, with us, with or without your money. We want you to worship with us. We don't want your money. So we'll build a church with a funding model that we'll fund and then we'll be able to implement in our own way. We want people here, not with their money, not for their money, not for their achievements in life, but their devotion to God and the mission and Christianity itself. That's what we want. We cannot be, if it's about money, you can see what has happened to most religious organizations lately. So they've been so many focus that they've either been captured by those with money, the elite, or now they can't even make a difference between them and the elite because they are so close together. So God is not about money. God is for the people, not positions, not money. So we cannot associate God solely with the fact that you can contribute this much. And with them enforcing the 10%. So if 10% of 5,000 is this amount, is 500, it means someone with 5 million can afford how much? Then you see, it means the person with the high pocket can be able to buy God, but you cannot buy God. That's the point. You cannot buy God. You can only worship God. So enforcing the tithe and putting tithe as part of the principles of the church is where the church got lost. Because now those who have power and money are the closest to the founders of the churches. Because why? Because the founders of the churches have so much in the script. Because the Bible is so big, you can pick script to read. That's not how. That's not. That's, even if you could read those scripts without tithing, that's not how it should be. Because as soon as you put that enforcement in the part of the question of your church, that's why you get lost. That's why the most famous and the rich go to churches, not to pray, not to praise God, but for influence, fund the leader, that they can deliver the message according to what they want. And that's why I see most churches and most organizations, especially most NGOs, have lost the track from their founding manifesto.